Bad to the bone.
The stage is set. The green flag drops. Roadkill is about to blow. Jane lights him up. Jane jams into first. Roadkill launches himself. Shred fades into last. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. Shred looks lost out there.
The law. Breaking 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 the law.
Jane hits the warp.
For the golden future.
Rip powers up. Rip is about to blow.
In my heart, you don't know what it's like. You don't have a clue.
Roadkill launches himself. Jane hits the warp. Last slap. Jane is dominating the race.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Shred looks lost out there.
Law. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Rip should avoid mines. Jane scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. Let the carnage begin! Roadkill jams into first. Roadkill is about to blow. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does.
When she's lonely and alone, it gets too much. She says the cable coming in from above. Don't even want it on. We've got a thing.
Rip is about to blow.
Red I love. We've got a wave in the air. Red I love.
Last slap. Rip fades into last. Jane is dominating the race.
Radio sings some forgotten song.
Roadkill is about to blow.
And leaves coming
Rip looks lost out there. Jane scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Shred takes a weak third. Rip is in another time zone. Start your engines. Rip jams into first. Rip is about to blow. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. Roadkill looks lost out there. Jane launches himself. Jane jams into first. Rip should avoid lines. Roadkill should avoid mines. Shred is headed the wrong way. Shred looks lost out there. is about to blow. Rip should avoid mines. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Rip picks a weak third. Dread is in another time zone. For all the champagne, glory, and gold, Roadkill is about to blow. Rip fades into last. Today's race is brought to you by Kyle's Power Tools, the #1 name in tools from Tool. Gene lights him up. Rip fades into last. Rip powers up. Strat looks lost out there. Last lap. Rip is about to blow. Jake is dominating the race. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Dread picks a weak third. Rip is in another time zone. We're underway. Dread is about to blow. Jake jams into first. Roadkill should avoid mines. Today's race is brought to you by Vera Fireblood's Dark Iron Ale, the pride of Dun Moreau. Roadkill looks lost out there. Rip should avoid mines. Dread is about to blow. Roadkill launches himself. Jake is dominating the race. Roadkill should avoid mines. Last lap. Roadkill looks lost out there. Rip should avoid mines. Dread should avoid mines. Jake is dominating the race. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Roadkill takes a weak third. Dread is in an... The main event, the mud, the blood, and the beer. Dread fades into last. Jake launches himself. Today's race is brought to you by Viking All Beef Cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork. Is about to blow. scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Shred takes... The stage is set for the main event. Roadkill is about to blow. Roadkill hits the warp. Rip fades into last. Shred is dominating the race. Jake jams into first. Shred should avoid lines. Rip looks lost out there. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. Spin out. Rip is about to blow. Roadkill jams into first. Jake lights him up. Rip should avoid lines. Jake hits the warp. Jake is dominating the race. Jake lights him up. Last lap. Shred fades into last. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Roadkill finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. And away we go. Rip is about to blow. Jake lights him up. Jake launches himself. Today's race is brought to you by Viking all-beef cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork.
The nurse spoke up, so leave this one alone. She could tell
Jake lights him up.
that I was bad to the bone, bad to the bone.
Roadkill fades into last.
Bad.
Jake hits the warp.
Bad to the bone.
Shred should avoid lines.
1,000 hearts. Before I met you, I'll break 1,000 more, baby.
Jake is dominating the race.
I wanna be yours, pretty baby. Yours and yours alone.
Shred looks lost out there.
Yeah, honey.
Jake hits the warp. Last lap.
Bad to the bone. Bad.
Shred hits the warp. Shred is about to blow. Shred should avoid lines. Jake hits the warp. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Shred finishes second. Roadkill takes a weak third. Rip is in another time zone. The stage is set. The green flag drops. Shred is about to blow. Roadkill jams into first. Jake lights him up. Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Kaprulu sector. Jake is dominating the race. Roadkill powers up. Last lap. Shred is about to blow. Rip looks lost out there. Roadkill should avoid mines. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Shred takes a weak third. Roadkill is in another time zone. Welcome to the frigid glacier planet, NHO! Frostbite's just part of the fun! Let the carnage begin!
I've been driving all night, man.
Rip jams into first. Jake fades into last.
It's the voice in my head that drives my heel.
Today's race is brought to you by Viking Alt Beef Cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork. Jake should avoid mine. Shred jams into first. Shred powers up. Shred is dominating the race. Butcher is about to blow. Last lap. Butcher should avoid mine.
Radio's playing some forgotten song. Brand new coming on strong.
Jake scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Shred takes a weak third. Butcher is in another time zone. NHL was settled because it was so Start your engines! Butcher is about to blow! Shred jams into first! Rip should avoid mine! Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Kaprulu sector. Rip looks lost out there! Butcher is about to blow! Shred fades into last! Rip fades into last! Jake lights him up! Jake is dominating the race! Butcher powers up! Butcher is about to blow! Butcher should avoid mines! Last lap! Shred should avoid mines! Shred fades into last! Jake is dominating the race! Rip is about to blow! Shred looks lost out there! Jake scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. For all the champagne, glory, and gold. Jake fades into last. Rip jams into first. Shred fades into last. Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Kaprulu sector. Jake should avoid mines. Shred looks lost out there. Butcher powers up. Jake jams into first. Jake is dominating the race. Rip launches himself. Jake powers up. Rip looks lost out there. Last lap. Rip is about to blow. Jake launches himself. Jake is dominating the race. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Shred takes a weak third. Butcher is in another time zone. We're underway. Butcher is about to blow. Jake fades into last. Shred is dominating the race. Rip should avoid mines. Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Kaprulu sector. Rip looks lost out there. Jake jams into first. Shred fades into last. Rip powers up. Jake is dominating the race. Butcher is about to blow. Last lap. Shred looks lost out there. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. The main event, the mud, the blood, and the beer. Butcher is about to blow. Jake lights him up. Jake launches himself. Shred hits the warp. Today's race is brought to you by Viking all-beef cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork. Jake lights him up. Rip fades into last. Rip hits the warp. Jake hits the warp. Rip launches himself. Jake is dominating the race. Jake hits the warp. Butcher powers up. hits the warp. Butcher hits the warp. Shred is about to blow. Last lap. Rip looks lost out there. Jane hits the warp. Jane is dominating the race. Butcher hits the warp. Jane scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. The stage is set for the main event. Shred hits the warp. Rip is about to blow. Shred is dominating the race. Today's race is brought to you by Viking all-beef cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork. Jane hits the warp. Butcher is about to blow. Shred jams into first. Rip should avoid lines. Jane is dominating the race. Rip looks lost out there. Butcher jams into first. Jane fades into last. Rip launches himself. Wide out. Butcher is dominating the race. Shred fades into last. Butcher scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Jane takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. And away we go. Rip is about to blow. Butcher is dominating the race. Jane is hammered. Today's race is brought to you by Kyle's Power Tools, the #1 name in tools from Tool. Rip fades into last.
She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad.
Shred is about to blow. Rip looks lost out there. Jane lights him up. Jane powers up.
Before I met you, I break 1,000 more, baby. Before I am through, I wanna be yours, but
Jane is dominating the race.
I'm here to tell you, honey, that I'm bad to the bone.
Jane hits the warp.
Bad to the bone.
Last lap. Rip looks looks lost out there. Trent fades to the left. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Trent is in another time zone. The stage is set. The green flag drops. Butcher is about to blow. Gene lights him up. Rip is dominating the race. Gene jams into first. Today's race is brought to you by Vera Fireblood's Dark Iron Ale, the pride of Dunn Moreau. Trent is about to blow. Rip fades into last. Trent should avoid lines. Trent fades into last. Last lap. Rip fades into last. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Trent is in another time zone. Let the carnage begin. Gene lights him up. Gene jams into first. Rip fades into last. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. Gene powers up. Trent looks lost out there. Trent is about to blow. Rip fades into last. Gene powers up.
Radio's playing some forgotten song.
Trent is about to blow. Rip looks lost out there. Trent fades into last. Rip launches himself. Gene is dominating the race. Butcher is about to blow. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Trent is in another time zone. Start your engines! Rip is about to blow! Gene launches himself! Gene jams into first! Gene lights him up! Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. the race. Shred fades into last. Rip is about to blow. Shred launches himself. Scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Butcher takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. For all the champagne, glory, and gold. Rip jams into first. Butcher is about to blow. Butcher fades into last. Rip hits the warp. Shred jams into first. James lights him up. Butcher looks lost out there. Today's race is brought to you by Vera Fireblood's Dark Iron Ale, the pride of Dunn Moreau. Gene hits the warp. Rip fades into last. Shred is about to blow. Shred should avoid mine. Gene hits the warp. Gene is dominating the race. Shred looks lost out there. Last slap. Butcher fades into last. Gene hits the warp. Shred hits the warp. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone.
Fire, we come to claim this land. Storm, black clouds fill the sky. Earth, I hear my battle cry. Fire, thunder will bring forth death.
We're underway. Butcher is about to blow. Gene jams into first. Today's race is brought to you by Kyle's Power Tools, the #1 name in tools from Tool. Gene is dominating the race. Rip is about to blow. Gene powers up. Rip looks lost out there. Gene is dominating the race. Shred should avoid mine. Gene scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. The main event, the mud, the blood, and the beer. Rip is about to blow. Jake jams into first. Today's race is brought to you by Gordo's Gift Shop, the exclusive dealer for Atlas brand parts. Buy Atlas brand. Your opponent does. Is about to blow. Jake powers up. Dread powers up. Rip powers up. Butcher fades in the last. Jake launches himself. Jake is dominating the race. Last lap. Is about to blow. Butcher fades in the last. Dread should avoid mines. Jake scores a first place knockout. Dread finishes second. Butcher takes a weak third. Rip is in another time. The stage is set for the main event. Butcher is about to blow. Butcher jams into first. Dread hits the warp. Butcher fades into last. Today's race is brought to you by Vespine Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Kaprulu sector. Dread powers up! Jake hits the warp! Dread is about to blow! Dread should avoid mines! Jake hits the warp! Dread launches himself! Jake is dominating the race! Dread should avoid mines! Rip hits the warp! Jake scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Dread is in another time zone. And away we go. Butcher jams into first. Dread launches himself. Today's race is brought to you by Viking All Beef Cola. So thick you have to drink it with a fork. Jake lights him up. Dread fades in the last.
So leave this one alone. She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone. Bad to the bone.
Jake is dominating the race. Rip powers up.
Bad to the bone. I broke 1,000 hearts.
Rip launches himself.
Before I met you, I'll break 1,000 more, baby.
Last lap.
Before I am through, I wanna be yours, pretty baby. Yours and yours alone. I'm here to tell you,
Rip
honey,
fades in the last.
that I'm bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad.
Jake scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. The stage is set. The green flag drops. Rip is about to blow. Rip gains in last. Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Koprulu sector. Rip looks lost out there. Shred fades into last. Butcher is about to blow. Jake is dominating the race. Shred looks lost out there. Last lap. Rip should avoid lines. Butcher fades into last. Jake is dominating the race. Jake scores a first-place knockout. Rip finishes second. Butcher takes a weak third. Shred is in another time zone. Let the carnage begin!
I've been driving all night, man, sweat on the wheel.
Rip is about to blow.
Voice in my head that drives
Shred launches himself. Butcher jams into first. Today's race is brought to you by Best Bean Gasoline, high-octane, high-performance fuel from the Koprulu sector. Butcher gains into last. Butcher hits the warp. Shred looks lost out there.
Red I love.
Butcher is about to blow. Jake is dominating the race. Shred launches himself. Rip should avoid lines. Last lap. Shred should avoid lines. Rip is about to blow. The machine has been derailed. Rip should avoid lines. Jake looks lost out there. Butcher scores a first-place knockout. Start your engines. Butcher is about to blow. Rip hits the warp. Today's race is brought to you by Vera Fireblood's Dark Iron Ale, the pride of Dunn Moreau. Rip fades into last. Shred hits the warp. Jane lights him up. Butcher hits the warp. Rip fades into last. Last lap. Rip looks lost out there. Butcher is about to blow. Jane is dominating the race. Jane scores a first-place knockout. Butcher finishes second. Rip takes a weak third. Dred is in another time zone.